Good afternoon, and welcome to the first Titans Talk here of 2026 here on the Mark Moses Show. Yes, we're going to kick it off with a very fine gentleman. Yes, the head coach of Eastern Florida State College men's baseball program. He is Mitch Gallagher. We got much to discuss to kick off the new year. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
How was the holidays? I'll start with the softball easy question. How was the holidays, Coach?
It was good. My family's kind of spread out all over the map. So we all met up in Colorado, and then I hopped over to California to see the in-laws. So did about a week of each, and then, nice couple weeks away, and then got back here and just hit the ground running.
I imagine it's like Christmas that week going into New Year's where you're having a very nice time with family, but in the back of your head, are you thinking about the season? Is that what it was like as a coach?
Yeah, it's, after you get about 3-4 days away, you can't help but start thinking about, where do you see guys playing? What roles are guys going to have? So it's hard to really turn it off completely, but it is kind of like a stress release for me to just like map it out on a computer. All right, this is where I see guys. Potentially this guy could move into this role. Certain guys, this is what our starting nine looks like. But you do all that planning, and then every year we know that your opening day lineup is going to be different from your first day of conference lineup, and it's going to be different from your postseason lineup. So all the planning doesn't really do anything other than just help you think about what we got moving forward.
Okay, when you look at the fall teams that I talked to last like August, like basketball, volleyball, they started school in August, they go right into camp, they get like a month or so. How about you? Like, how did this work? Did you have camp in the fall? Like, you're coming back from Christmas, then you guys are going to start next Friday. How's it working with practice before the season starts then?
Yeah, so our fall is pretty intense. For junior college baseball, it's nice because everybody always says you kind of get two seasons where we're allowed to play 14 dates in the fall. You get a lot of outside opponents. Our hitters are going to get, they ended up with 70 plus at bats this fall. Our pitchers threw about 15 innings apiece. So they get a lot of work in. It's almost like a mini season for them.
Yeah.
And then right at Thanksgiving, that's where we shut it down. And now you get 1 or 2 weeks off before you start to have to build back up. And that's the tough part, going in with how quickly junior college baseball starts. We have Division IIs start a week after us, and the Division I schools start 2 weeks after us. So they get a little bit more time to build up. Whereas for us, we basically get 2 inter-squad days, 2.5 weeks of practice, and then we open up. So it's a quick turnaround for us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, you personally, like I go to the Eastern Florida website and it's got all the information on the roster. And then it said all right, last couple of years, head assistant coach, your head coach steps down. You're now named the interim head coach. You are the head coach now. What was that process like, behind the scenes? And what did you take out of being an assistant like that, getting ready for this season?
Yeah, for us, really, there wasn't a whole lot to change. When Coach Brown came in, he did a really good job turning this program around and getting us kind of trending in the right direction. So it wasn't like we needed this complete overhaul. And I was fortunate enough to be, in the office with him, kind of hearing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and how it works. So the transition wasn't a whole lot other than I'm actually hands-on, working with administration, working with scheduling, stuff like that. So the transition wasn't it didn't feel like a complete overhaul or something that was completely new to me. Obviously there was still some stuff to figure out, but it wasn't like this reinvent the wheel, we got to do things differently type approach. It was kind of just, all right, let's stay the course. Let's keep progressing like we have been. And so hopefully, push comes to shove in the spring, we'll keep trending up.
Okay, as a former player, you've been assistant. Are you excited for this challenge? Get ready for that game next Friday, starting the season as the head coach here at Eastern Florida.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. Even, the first game of the fall where, the games don't count, they don't go on your record, and it's not necessarily, real baseball where you can turn the lineup over, you can mix guys in if you need to flip an inning so you don't overuse pitchers, stuff like that. And even those games, there's like that little feeling in your stomach where like, it's different when you're the man in charge. So there's really a little bit of that going into the season. But I do the prep work our guys have been going through, and the maturity of our group has been really helpful for me as a first year head coach, where I don't feel like I've had to hold hands along the way. There's been a lot of, here's the structure, here's the plan, this is what you guys got, and they hit the ground running. So I can feel pretty easy about that too.
All right. For all of our fans watching this and listening to this right now, I will give you the stage. It's like a pitch to future recruits.
All right.
What brand of baseball do you like to play there at Eastern Florida?
It's high energy. That was, going back to Coach Brown, that was really what he wanted to instill. He came from the West Coast. I ended up playing baseball in the West Coast, and there's a little bit different brand of baseball where we're going to steal bases. We're going to hit and run. We're going to bunt. We're going to have more tools in our tool belt than just throw the ball hard, hit the ball hard. It's a little bit more dynamic. There's a little bit more chaos on the bases. Everything's a little bit more up tempo. So for us, we really look for athletic ball players on the pitching side and on the position player side, guys that are going to move around, guys that are going to bring high energy. And for us, that's less about, the talking and being vocal and rah, 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 and more about how you take the field, how you're throwing the ball across the infield, how you run the bases and everything like that. That's what we look for.
All right. Does it take time for a team to gel? I know you want them to show up day one and they're ready to steal bases, but does it take time as a team to gel like that and become the vision you want?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. Obviously, when we recruit, we try to bring in guys that fit that mold. So there's less. I don't want to reinvent what guys do well. If you're a big, strong kid that doesn't run the bases well, maybe it's not the best fit for us. But that doesn't mean you're not good enough for this level. It's just we look for a certain style of player. So most of our guys fit that mold. So it's a little easier to coach them up and then just teach them, this is our style, everything like that. But then, the group, as far as the group gelling, we've had the last 3 years, we've had a we've been fortunate enough with the guys we have that they come in and they do gel pretty quickly together.
We're here with Mitch Gallagher. Yes, head baseball coach there at Eastern Florida. This is the Titans Talk here on the Mark Moses Show. All right, you guys are starting next Friday to kick it off. All right, tell us about the matchup. I know you've been breaking it down. You still have a week to go. Tell us about what you guys are going to be opening with.
Yeah, so we have Pensacola State College and Cleveland Community College coming down. We're going to play a round-robin tournament. We'll play 4 7-inning, each team will get 4 7-inning games apiece. So we play each other twice. We're going to open up against Pensacola State. Glad to get them down because it's a really, really competitive ball club up in the Panhandle Conference. They're also the team that ended our season last year, so we get to see them right off the bat. And then Cleveland Community College has been I think they won 40 games last year, so another really good ball club. And that's really the goal, is we want to be battle tested early. After the opening weekend, we'll go to Panama City Beach, play a lot of really good junior colleges up there. So I just want our guys to be exposed to a lot of high level baseball, because our conference is no easy match.
See, I was going to ask you about that. I know it's a very difficult, to play all these different teams. Is it more, I know it's cliche, is it a marathon where you start in January and it goes into late April and hopefully into May? Is that what it feels like to you?
Yeah, I'd say so. While you want to win as many games as you can and you want to go in and be competitive right off the bat, part of that too is a little bit of pace, right? We're not going to go out and we're not going to have our starting pitcher throw 5-6 innings opening night. He's going to slowly build up, like we talked about with that quick ramp up phase that we have when we come back from break. We can't go out there and just, hey, starting pitchers, you're going to throw 4 or 5 innings off the bat. It's going to be 2 to 3 innings for each guy for the first few weeks as we build up to conference, so just to make sure everybody's healthy when we enter the peak of our season.
All right, I ask this to every coach at your level, this JUCO level, where you get a guy for 1, hopefully 2 years, then you're constantly recruiting. So how do you try to juggle that as a coaching staff, where you have your current team, but then also you got to constantly be looking at high school recruits like that?
Yeah, it can be difficult, and it's definitely time consuming. Really, you can never really stop recruiting. And sometimes, I guess the best advice I got was my first year as a recruiting coordinator was, if you like a guy, try to sign him, because you really don't know you don't know who's going to come back. You don't know who's going to be a one and done guy and be able to move on. You don't know if you're, one of the guys who you thought after his second year was going to be able to move on, but maybe he gets injured and now he's going to come back for a third year. So if you like a guy, sign him, and then you kind of deal with the whole roster thing over the summer. So that's kind of how we have to approach it. But the peaks would probably be summer and fall, and then we try to get to the local games in the spring. But really just trying to see as much baseball in this state as we can.
I know also, like, one of your top pitchers is going to be going to Miami moving forward. You have these other players. When a player comes to you, and I know this is going to happen moving forward to you as that coach, what advice do you try to give certain players who want to, all right, I want to succeed in Eastern Florida, and then I want to go play maybe Division I? What's your advice for them?
Just buy in and trust our process. We've done really, really well since we've come in here. Each year we're sending more and more guys to the Division I level, and compete really, really strong Division IIs as well. The big thing is buying in and trusting our process. Brody Kelly, who you mentioned, he's going to Miami. When we signed him, he was an 86, 88 mile an hour right-handed arm. He was about 165 pounds. And we told him, if you want to get to where you want to get to, you're going to have to put on some weight, get a little bit stronger. And we signed him in the fall. By the time we saw him that spring in high school, clearly had put on 10, 15 pounds already. Now he comes in, he's 88, 91 for his whole freshman year, but he's continuing to focus on nutrition, focus on the weight room, everything like that. And then he comes back after last summer and he's sitting 92, 94. And now he's really starting to turn some heads. So that's really the big thing, is the guys that come in here and work hard, they move on and they're successful, because the talent is usually there, but sometimes there's that physicality aspect, which is why they weren't a Division I guy off the bat, because they're just not physical enough compared to the 22, 23-year-olds that are at the next level. So our job is to get them there, and they just have to, buy in and trust what our process is.
Coach, can you help guys in their 40s like me put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle? Can we work on this? I like to throw 90 as well. Come on, Coach.
So I think what I've really done is try to divide labor, and put guys in roles that they're really successful with. So I might have to get you in touch with our strength coach.
Okay.
He could probably get you on that plan. But for me, myself, once I got done playing, my strength routine and everything isn't up to date.
Okay, let's hear about Coach. So where are you from originally?
So originally I'm from Connecticut, Fairfield County, Connecticut. I moved down to Florida right after 8th grade, right before I started high school. So I claimed Florida because we spent all of high school there. Then my family stayed in Florida when I went away to college, and they only moved out of Florida probably about when I got the job at Eastern originally, that's when my parents left Florida for a couple of years, and then they came back to Jacksonville. So I claim Florida now.
Now you played collegiately at Pepperdine. Is this correct?
Yeah, I went to Pepperdine out of high school, and then I went down to junior college in San Diego called Palomar College, and then from Palomar I went to Xavier in Ohio.
What positions did you play?
Every single one except for pitcher. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that last inning. I wanted to get one on the bump. My primary was shortstop, second base, but as a freshman, sophomore, trying to get playing time, my first start was at third base. My next start was at first base. My next 7 or 8 were in the outfield, and then really just kind of pieced together. It got to a point where I was basically bringing every positional glove to the field, knowing that I'd be somewhere in the lineup or get put somewhere in the lineup, but I just didn't know what position it would be.
Do you feel like that helps you as a coach, that you played so many different positions to help every guy on the team like that?
Yeah, for sure. The biggest thing, when you're talking about team defenses, first and thirds, bunt defense, out cuts and relays, everything like that, getting to spend time at each of those positions really gives you the insight of where everybody needs to be moving around, what they should see, what they should be ready for. Whereas if you get pigeonholed at one spot, you're really only focused on what that position needs to do at any given time. and you might lose sight of, when you actually get into a role where you have to know what outfielders are doing in a specific spot or what catchers need to be doing in a specific spot, and you've never had that background, you have to do a little bit of digging to figure out where guys need to be. And so it definitely prepped me.
Okay. What's the hardest position? You could be honest with us. You played it, but what was the hardest position to play for you?
Catcher. Couldn't do it. I could receive the ball. My catch and throw was fine. Blocking was just, I never could create the instinct to actually drop to my knees and block. And I think with all the new school one knee stuff, maybe I could get to that point, but it was just, we would do blocking drills, and my reaction to, I don't know if it was my reaction time or just my instinct to, as an infielder, to want to pick a ball in the dirt versus getting down and blocking it. I could never get that dialed in where it needed to be.
The follow-up, what's your favorite position that you played?
Shortstop.
I could tell you want it.
Yeah, it's enough action without the responsibility of the catcher having to block. So you're involved enough, but you don't have that. All the respect to our catchers. I try to treat them right when I can, because I know the grind of having you do more than everybody at that position, because while all of our position guys, they're going to hit for a certain amount of time, they're going to do defensive work for a certain amount of time, and then you add in all the bullpens that the catchers have to come back for. So there's just so much extra that goes into being a catcher.
Yeah, I prefer outfield. See ball, get ball, throw ball. I like that. No extra pressure. Just get the ball. That's all I need.
Get it in.
Get it in. That's what you got to do. So since you're from Connecticut, are you a Red Sox guy? Is that the team?
Yeah. So my town was actually very divided between Boston sports and New York sports. Yankees fans, Mets fans, Red Sox fans, and I picked the Red Sox.
Who is your favorite player growing up?
Nomar Garciaparra.
Nomar Garciaparra. Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
I did. Yeah. So that's actually when I really became a Red Sox fan, was I started going to these Nomar Garciaparra camps that they'd hold every summer, and I'd go and spend a week there. And then he came to the camps, and he'd always give a talk. And then actually when he got traded away, and he was with Oakland, when he first came back to Fenway Park, my mom and I went to the game, and then we were walking around downtown Boston after, and we just happened to bump into Nomar and Mia Hamm on the street. And we amazing. Mia Hamm actually kind of backed off, and my mom, I got a picture with Nomar, and my mom's like, Mia, get in. She's like, no, it's his night. So they were awesome. Nomar is just very, very genuine guy. So one of my favorite Red Sox of all time.
I like your mom. No fear. She don't care.
None.
No. Okay. Yeah. Mia Hamm's an all-timer, Olympic. Yeah. She's pretty awesome. World Cup champion. All right.
Yeah,
that is awesome. Okay. Do you have the photo framed somewhere?
Probably. My mom, we've moved a lot. So my mom she keeps all this stuff in storage. And so one time when I, just because in the coaching world, you do bounce around so much. So now that I'm starting to hopefully get settled here for a little bit, we're starting to dig into the storage. I do have, if you can see, I can turn the camera. I've got these Fenway Park seats right here. Those have been up in Connecticut for probably the last 15 to 20 years. And we finally got them down to Florida just because it's
Are we allowed to sit in those if we come to your office?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. You can. I like it. All right. Let's end with this with Coach. And yes, Eastern Florida is going to start next Fridays. We're taping this today. And yeah, like you said, you're going to be taking on Pensacola and Cleveland Community College. Go check it out there at the Melbourne campus there at Eastern Florida. All right. So I was at a sporting goods store about 2 weeks ago. Why are baseball bats so expensive? I need to know. I don't know. What happened? What is this?
It's crazy. They get more expensive and they seem to break more.
Yeah.
I've actually seen metal bats now that are snapping in half, or the caps are flying off, the knob of the bat's popping off. They're getting up to $500 now, which is
okay.
Crazy.
So then my question is, this is for everyone, because I know probably most people don't know this. So at your level, are there regulations on what bat Like, can someone show up with a $600 bat? Like, how does this work exactly?
Yeah, so as long as it's BB Core approved, and then passes a compression test, which we do, we have to test bats before every game because there's so many different ways to manipulate a bat that, you know, people will do digging on it. And it's crazy, but you put it into a compression test, you turn a knob and flip a handle, and it'll let you know if the bat meets regulations. So, I don't even know what the measurement is, but 1200 is the number that you have to stay above, or 1250 is the number you have to stay above for it to be a legal bat. So you can get as expensive a bat as you want, but it's got to be BB Core certified and it has to pass a compression test.
Me personally, just go with wooden bats. I'm at this point, I'm just like, whatever. Okay.
I know but as expensive as the metal bats are, when you get the wood bats into the mix, which are also pretty pricey and they break, once you've broken 2 to 3, now the wood bats become more expensive, which is.
Can you hit the ball or can you not hit the ball? That's what I think about when I don't care how much you spend on a bat. All right. I know I sound like an old man. Get off my lawn when I say these things.
Okay. It's the archer, not the bow.
Coach Gallagher, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck on the new season. I hope I can get you on again sometime. All right.
Thanks for having me.